Everyone, welcome back to the show. Tonight we got a lot to unpack, but first of all, we're going to start out with Donald Trump's team torching Elizabeth Warren after she criticizes Elon Musk in an epic mic drop moment.
Well, Trump team had some words for Senator Elizabeth Warren after she accused the president-elect and his closest ally, I should say, Elon Musk, of corruption. In a letter to Trump, Warren detailed concerns of Musk having a conflict of interest leading DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. She also questioned Elon Musk's motives during an interview just yesterday. Watch.
Here is this man, richest man in the world, who has multiple companies. So he's got Tesla, the electric car maker. He's got X. He's got Neuralink. He's got SpaceX and a handful of other companies. Those companies are directly involved with the United States government. And here he is whispering into the ear of Donald Trump. So what is he whispering? Is he whispering, here are ways to help the American people? Or is he thinking through ways to make those companies richer? The American public has a right to know who's giving this kind of advice to Donald Trump. Someone who's helping the American people or just helping himself.
Do you think she rehearsed that last part? I think she did. Trump's incoming press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, shot back a fiery response in a statement to Fox News Digital. Here it is. President Trump has assembled the most impressive and qualified team of innovators, entrepreneurs, and geniuses to advise and staff our government. Pocahontas can play political games and send toothless letters, but the Trump-Vance transition will continue to be held to the highest ethical and legal standards possible, a standard unfamiliar to a career politician whose societal impact is 1/1024th of Elon Musk's. Okay, girl can write and she can do math. Emily.
That's what's called a mic drop. Yeah, look, Caroline Leavitt, she nailed it. And the reality is, I know that Elizabeth Warren means well, or at least I think she does, but this is so misplaced and so misguided, and it really falls flat. Because to this point, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have just begun to take on a colossal and really crucial role with the federal government, which is absolutely trimming the fat. And most of the programs that Elizabeth Warren has advocated for, again, in a well-meaning fashion, but that are just absolutely ridiculous and bloated and of a complete overreach of government and our tax dollars, will be done away with. So I think this goes back to our earlier conversation where they are clinging tightly to the way things were. But the reality is, then put on your seatbelt because it's not going to be the way things were anymore. Because finally, we are going to have some transparency of a government that under people's watch, like Elizabeth Warren and like Bernie Sanders, who are multimillionaires and yet advocate for complete socialism and communism, we had no idea where our dollars were going. And now finally we do, and we want them back.
Well, millionaires know how to count other people's money.
Yes,
apparently.
totally.
Yeah, so Trump is back. So are the insults, the savage insults, which makes it all more entertaining. And I think it's actually a genuinely good thing because it gets people more engaged and paying attention when things are hilarious, like talking about Elizabeth Warren that way. She raises fair points. I don't disagree with her that we should be wary of anyone who has any interests who is advising the president, either party. The problem with her is that when it comes to government oversight of presidential administrations, she doesn't have a particularly good record. Congress doesn't have a particularly good record.
I was just going to say Congress.
They've completely surrendered, and both parties do it. I think Democrats do it worse than Republicans, generally speaking, where they just sort of hand over all their oversight responsibilities if their team is in the White House, which is a complete attack on the Constitution and a bad way to do government.
So just one example of what I think you're getting at is conflict of interest. Why in the world can't we ever get a bill passed that keeps people in those high positions from getting insider trading information and utilizing it? Like, I think Nancy Pelosi has made it her personal mission to make sure that doesn't happen. I mean, if I'm wrong about that, write me, tell me about it, and make sure you use some of Caroline's words.
You're going to suddenly get an email from Nancy Pelosi. Oh, no, you're wrong. That's great.
No, you won't. You don't have to look for her missives. All you do is follow her stock trade.
Right?
I mean, you want to get rich in this country. Yeah, so there are plenty of Nancy Pelosi funds that follow her stock trades, trade for trade, and it is up. The only thing that it's in competition with is the anti-Kramer fund. So Jim Cramer, whatever he tells you to buy, you sell it. Or whatever he tells you to sell, you buy. And those funds are both making so much money. Elizabeth Warren is an anti-freedom hack. Don't listen to anything she has to say. Go cut the government, Elon and Vivek, do it.
I think we're all excited about a little trim here and there. And I hope that Elon Musk, after he finishes in D.C., he comes to New York City and helps the MTA cut the fat there, because we're about to go into congestion pricing. And
You think it's going to happen?
And New Yorkers are furious about it, but there's still a few lawsuits that have to be settled.
That's what I questioned. And we know Trump's not in favor of it.
Yeah, so Elon, come to New York City after you're finished in D.C.
Wow.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, guys, so again, a lot to talk about here tonight, but I want to welcome everyone to the live stream. Let's go, everybody. Hey, hit me up in the chat. Let me know you're watching. And do me a big favor, hit that thumbs up like button. It really does help out the channel. Subscribe, guys, if you're not a subscriber to the channel. Okay, let's talk about Warren, because Elizabeth Warren is once again showing her hypocrisy. She's quick to criticize Elon Musk for stepping into a government role, but she's supported policies that benefit other billionaires when it suits her agenda. Y'all see the difference here? See, it's a glaring double standard that needs to be called out. Now, Elon Musk, on the other hand, he has a proven track record of innovation and success in the private sector. Think Tesla, SpaceX, X, and more. I mean, come on. This guy is an absolute legend. His involvement in government could bring the efficiency and the forward-thinking solutions that bureaucrats like Warren simply can't deliver. And that's why she's so threatened by him, I think. See, the Trump team's response to Warren is exactly what conservatives have been waiting for. They're boldly calling out her hypocrisy and standing firm for accountability and free enterprise, guys, which we love on this channel. It's leadership like this that resonates with so many Americans who are tired of the political double talk. Now, guys, I want to show y'all this next clip. Might get you a little bit fired up, okay? Because they're trying to pass this bill. I don't know. They may have already passed it just in the little bit of time we've been live already. They're trying to push this bill through in Congress to continue, you know, this crazy spending on things. Even though Donald Trump's already been elected, the left has pushed this through. A lot of people are upset with Speaker Johnson. Y'all check out these Republican lawmakers, Rick Scott, as they kind of give us an update on what's going on with this craziness.
Questions that anybody has? Yes.
The CR was brought up a few times, so we'll start there. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, even some senators are now posting on X saying that they should not take up this bill. The House, it sounds like, could vote on it today. You all don't usually vote for CRs. So what is your message to Speaker Johnson, and why do you think he put a product like this out there?
Over 1,500 pages, all right? The bills that never seen the light of day. None of us knew what was in them. People are expected to vote on very quickly. You know, more regulation. I mean, just wasteful spending. No pay-fors, right? It makes no sense. This is you know, we won the election. This has got to change. And you know, people act like, oh, you can't balance a budget. So I balanced the budget when I was governor. I walked in a budget deficit. You do it by looking at everything you spend money on. Look at every line in the budget. Look at all the regulations. You can cut 20% of regulations. I'm very appreciative of what Elon Musk is doing and Vivek Ramaswamy, because we can do it. It's all doable. So I don't know. You probably want to talk about this.
Let me just comment. Look, the American people don't send their representatives to Washington to vote on a 1,500-page bill in less than 24 hours. That spends $110 billion, adds $110 billion to the deficit, without the opportunity to offer an amendment to perhaps pay for this bill. The process is broken. I think that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk recognize that if they are empowered to somehow reduce government spending and reduce our deficit, because as Elon Musk says, deficit equals inflation. That's the bottom line. When we do deficit spending, we're printing money, we are causing inflation. How are we going to change that if one of the actions we take after November 5th is to take a vote on a bill that's $110 billion direct addition to our deficit and our debt without even a vote on a pay for. We have to change business, the way business is done in Washington. Look, unfortunately, it does look like we're probably going to vote on this today. I don't know. They're whipping the votes over in the House to see if they have the votes to pass this. I think most Americans would view this as exactly what they think is wrong with Washington.
Do you have confidence in Speaker Johnson staying on then?
Well, I don't know. I'm only one vote out of 220. Look, I think the Speaker could have handled this differently. At this point, I'm still supportive of the Speaker, but I will tell you that voices both inside the House Freedom Caucus and outside the Freedom Caucus have been very disappointed at what's happened this week.
Anybody else want to say anything about the CR?
No, I'll just quickly say it's like Chairman Harris said, it's the way it was done. Not going through a rule, not letting us vote individually. And guess what was hidden in there? And I'm still livid about this, pay raises for us. How does that square? What return on investment have we given the people of America other than $37 trillion in debt? It makes no sense. And have no pay for us? How does that work? No family or business would do that. And no family or business, as has been mentioned, how do you read? A speed reader can't read 1,547 pages in less than 24 hours. It's insanity. Now, the next question is, what are you going to do? Friday at 12 o'clock, the budget. I mean, that's when the shutdown. Well, look, it is what it is, and we got to face it. But rather than saddle each one of you young people with more and more debt, it's insanity. And it flies in the face of the Doge Commission. That's what everybody's excited about, yet here we do this. Makes no sense.
We need to realize that since November the 5th, since we got this mandate for President Trump, the House, if we pass this bill with $110 billion, we will have passed more than $300 billion in additional spending since November the 5th. That's the trajectory that we have got to stop. Thank you.
Insanity. Insanity, guys, that we are pushing this through. This is so disrespectful to us as Americans, where we are putting our hard-earned money into taxes every year, and they're pushing through these bills without even reading them to give themselves pay raises in the face of everything that Elon Musk is trying to do. This just shows you people like Elizabeth Warren, guys. They're so corrupt, so insane. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to Gene in the chat. Good to see you, man. And everyone else, guys, let me know you're here in the stream. Throw your name down in the chat so we can see you. Tell us where you're from. Guys, lot going on, lot to unpack tonight. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Okay, next thing I want to show you guys is Mayor Eric Adams, New York City. Democrats stop. This is what he says, right? He says that Democrats stopped speaking to people and started speaking at the people. He absolutely roasts Democrats, roasts the left. You've got to see this exclusive interview that Fox News aired earlier. Y'all check it out.
Now, my exclusive interview with New York City Mayor Eric Adams. We sat down today at City Hall. He is the first big city mayor to sit down with the incoming border czar, against really the wishes of his own city leaders, saying he will work with the Trump White House to deport migrant criminals from his city, and his message to fellow Democrats to wake up after their sweeping 2024 election losses. We had a big election, obviously, in November of 2024. There are a lot of prominent Democrats who are speaking out of what they're referring to as a real wake-up call for your party. Let's watch some of these voices, and then I want to get your reaction, Mayor.
Donald Trump is not an idiot. You know how I know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
Court, the popular vote.
Democrats, you lost. You got your butts whipped. Own it, live with it, accept it.
I don't even know what the Democratic Party is at this particular moment. They don't seem to have a real sense of direction at this point.
So Trump won by 11 points in the Bronx and in Queens. He cut in half Biden's lead in New York. What do you say to what these individuals are saying? Do you agree with them?
Wholeheartedly. That we stopped speaking to people, we started speaking at people. I think I like to say it's a cryptocurrency moment. You know, when I first started, said I was going to invest in cryptocurrency, people laughed at me. Who's laughing now? And when I first got elected in 2022, I told the party, it's public safety. People are tired of the revolving door where people are constantly committing violent crimes and back on our streets. We ignored it. I talked about the affordability issue. I talked about the migrants and asylum seeker issue. I mean, Iowa caucus showed that is one of the top issues. Not hearing the people and you engaging in dialogue while individuals are fearful of affordability, losing their home, the future of their children, and you having these intellectual conversations, and people are like saying, what the hell are you talking about? I'm hurting, and you're asking, is Donald Trump Hitler or not? It's just not talking to the real needs of people.
So you have been strong on those issues. I look back at the things that you were saying over the years. Obviously, you spent decades as a New York City police officer, but when you came into office, you were asked on ABC if you were concerned that being a sanctuary city was going to create a magnet to New York. And here's what you said.
Not at all. This city has always been a sanctuary city, and we've always managed those who wanted to come to New York City to pursue the American dream.
But now, you know, people see Tren de Aragua in Times Square. They see gang members and criminals who are getting arrested and getting released, put back out on the street. $6.6 billion on migrants in New York City. People complain that the city is dirty. What do you say to those who say that your turn on this, and you're sitting down with Tom Homan last week and talking about making a safer New York, came too late?
Well, and this is why this is so important, to be able to not have a bumper sticker understanding of a policy and a person's belief, but engaging in real conversations, which we don't do that much often anymore. Sanctuary city is totally different from a man-made crisis that we saw. This is what sanctuary city states. If you're in this city and you are paying taxes, you buy a loaf of bread, you pay taxes, those are your tax dollars. You have a right to the services of the city. You have a right to the police officers. You should not be fearful to put your children in school and get health care. That's what a sanctuary city is. What a sanctuary city is not is having an unsecure border and allowing gang members to come in, paroling people into the country where you're telling them you can't work for 6 months or a year and you have to be dependent on the local cities to take care of you. We're saying that as a sanctuary city, if you're here and you are participating legally, you are provided the services as you start your pathway to get citizenship or legal status. That has always been what took place in this city, but it is not a safe haven for those who are committing criminal acts or trying to harm migrants, asylum seekers, and other New Yorkers.
Well, you see what.
Okay, guys, we're going to watch a little bit more of this, but first of all, I want to say thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Here's the thing, though, guys. Mayor Eric Adams just confirmed. Did y'all notice what conservatives have been saying for years? The Democrat Party has lost touch with the people that they claim to represent. Instead of listening to the everyday struggles of hardworking Americans, they've been pushing top-down policies that are driven by the elites. Adams' comments are a clear warning, guys, that this approach is backfiring, and it is time for us to hold them accountable for ignoring the voices of the people. Absolutely ridiculous, absolutely insane. All right, let's continue watching this.
What Tren de Aragua is doing in Aurora, Colorado, torturing 15 people, taking over at least a couple of apartment buildings there. You know, what do you say to the people of your city who feel like this is out of control? You've got 11% of the Manhattan hotel rooms are occupied right now by migrants, and a lot of people out there, despite what you say about the situation, think that you let it go too far.
And listen, they were angry. And many of them were angry because they didn't understand. They said, Eric, what are you doing? Why are you allowing these buses to come in? Hey, I can't stop them from coming in. That's against federal law. Well, why don't you let them work like all immigrants have done and found their way? Federal government told me, Eric, you can't allow them to work. You know what, Eric? You can't even allow them to volunteer to clean the streets, remove graffiti, and give them a stipend. That's against federal law. And then I have city law that told me there's a right to shelter law. Anyone that comes in the city, anywhere on the globe, can come here and get shelter for as long as they want. I had to go to court and fight that and give a 30 and 60-day notification. That's how we dropped 220,000 that came here to now 50,000, because we said you only going to stay in our shelter for 30 days. And we fought on that. And so, yes, people were angry. They saw the headlines, look what our mayor is doing, but in reality, the mayor was handcuffed. So what I had to do was make sure my police protected those who were the victims of these crimes, and made sure that I had to follow the housing laws that were in place, but while we fought them in court.
So you have butted heads with your city council a lot on the things that you wanted to change. Their chamber is right down the hall here. You must run into each other all the time in these halls. Other mayors are taking a different tack. Brandon Johnson in Chicago and the mayor of Boston saying, we will not bend or break to the Trump mass deportation rule. This is what people in the city council meeting, these are residents in Chicago. Here's what they're saying about their mayor's stance on this. Watch this.
You caused all this money to go to illegal immigrants. We want a forensic audit of the money that was spent on illegal immigration.
Can you do the job, Mr. Brandon Johnson? And it's looking like you can't do the job. We need to start voting different in these cities like New York and Chicago.
That last voice, we have to start voting differently in these cities like New York and Chicago. Do you see a movement happening in cities when you look at what happened in the election? And are these voices going to change these blue cities potentially into red ones?
That's a good question, and that's why I believe that the Democratic Party must ensure that they're listening to the voices of the people. The American people, they spoke loudly and clearly, and they stated that we have to secure our borders, we have to deal with the immigration crisis, and we have to address those violent individuals who come to this country. It's a privilege and a right to be in America, and if you violate that, you should not be in this country. That number of people, which I believe is a small number, committing those violent acts, like the gangs that we've mentioned, should not be here.
So let's talk about the gangs. Let's talk about what you agreed to with Tom Homan. Violent criminals will be deported under the Trump mass deportation. What constitutes a violent criminal? Is that someone who is accused, someone who has been convicted, someone who wears gang tattoos? You know, where do you draw the line? Did you make that line with him?
No, we did not. I thought our conversation was a great conversation. Tom and I both sat down, and we both agree on violent individuals should not remain in our country. We have laws here in the city on how that could be handled. My legal team is going to sit down with his legal team to make the determination if an executive order can change that. One of the things he would like to have is that's access to Rikers Island. That's the jail in our city. The law that was passed under the previous administration said that no ICE officer can be in any governmental building. There are exceptions to that. We're looking at those exceptions. That's my core issue. I've said it prior to the election. We can't allow people to come into the country or the city committing violent acts. And those numbers who are doing it, we need to address that. And I'm happy to have a partner in Tom to see how do we address that in a real way.
So are gang tattoos that are TDA enough to get someone removed in that first group?
No, it's not. No, it's not. And because we got to also ensure that we're not violating the laws of our land. And the mere fact someone is wearing a gang tattoo, which is an identifiable marker of this gang, is not enough to say, okay, you have a gang tattoo, now you must be removed. But what we should be doing at our border, we could be making that determination. Are we going to allow you to come in? We're allowing people to come in. Think about this for a moment. We're allowing people to come in without a sponsor, without any employment, and we're telling them, you can't work. So what are they going to do? We're creating a pipeline of criminality by creating these terrible criteria.
Are you
Guys, are y'all hearing this? This is absolutely insane. And by the way, yes, this stream sponsored by. I'm responding to the chat, guys. Gene telling us that it's sponsored by Mr. Coffee Giant White Cups. That's hilarious. I got my own big white cup here, guys, but it's not Mr. Coffee's White Bison. But hey, guys, welcome to the stream. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Lot going on tonight. But here's the thing. As I'm listening to this interview, Adams is shining a spotlight on the chaos that's caused by sanctuary city policies. Policies that his own party has aggressively supported for years. And now, New York City is struggling, guys, under the weight of these decisions, from strained resources to overwhelmed communities. Guys, this is proof. This right here is proof that these policies might sound good on paper, but guys, it has a devastating real-world consequence for local residents and us as taxpayers. If you're from New York, or if you know anyone from New York, let me know, guys. Put it down in the chat. This is absolutely insane what's happening. Okay, I want you to hear just the rest of this interview. Just some insane things from Mayor Adams.
To find a way through executive orders to allow ICE to function in this city to carry out deportations?
We're going to allow them to, the areas where we can allow them to do. Right now, I could allow ICE to come on into Rikers Island, anything but for deportation. But allowing them access to do criminal investigation is going to help us all. But we're going to sit down with our attorneys and see what executive orders I can do to give me more power to go after those who are creating illegal acts. Now, we're going to also, I want to be very clear, we're going to also tell those who are following the law, doing the right thing, here's the pathway to participate in the citizenship and utilize the services that the taxes you are paying for allow you to utilize.
So let's go back. When you started to realize that 200,000 people was too many, you said this could destroy New York City. What was the reaction that you got at the White House when you asked for help?
When we saw the numbers coming in, we were getting at one time almost 8,000 a week, 16,000 every 2 weeks. I mean, we could just do the math, unsustainable. And at that time, the right to shelter, we were being sued by advocates that required us to give everyone a bed by a certain number of times. We were getting buses 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. And we reached out to the White House, 10 trips to Washington, D.C., asking them for help in securing the border and stopping this flow. I went down to El Paso and also went down to the Darien Gap, and I saw the flow and the threat that we were receiving. We didn't get the support. We got $200 million out of a $6.5 billion deficit. And so many people believe that, okay, Eric, it's in your rearview mirror. It happened already. You got 170,000 out. No, the damage that we are going to see long term from spending $6.5 billion. $200 million could have gone to those chronically absent children. We could have put hundreds of millions of dollars into the senior care, helping people with medical debt relief. So when you start to look at the long-term impact of the services we did not provide, it's going to start materializing in the years to come. That is the destruction that I was talking about.
So when you had that pushback from the White House, they stopped returning your phone calls?
Prior to this crisis, I asked the president to come to New York City when we were having a crime problem, the gun problem. He came here and met with our law enforcement. We had a continuous conversation with the White House on these important issues. When this issue happened and we asked for assistance over and over again, and I refused to remain silent while I was watching this city harm, we no longer received the support that we deserved. We no longer had an opportunity to communicate with the president. It was a clear statement from the White House that they didn't appear to be happy that I was standing up for the city. And other mayors should do that. Look at what happened in these other cities, Chicago, Denver, Los Angeles, Houston. Cities should not be taking away the resources from their residents to handle a national crisis.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click.
Hey guys, big shout out to everyone in the chat. OG Dog, Betty, Gene, Leela, good to see y'all. Welcome to the stream tonight. A lot of stuff that we're unpacking here, but here's the thing, guys. Democrat Party's 2024 election loss has got to be a major wake-up call. But the question remains to me and to all of us, will they actually listen to the people this time? Mayor Adams' critique highlights how they are disconnected right now from voters, and it's becoming a massive liability for the Democratic Party. As they continue to push these unpopular policies and alienate key groups, it's clear to me and clear to the American people that their path forward is shaky at best. I don't know if they're going to get elected again in 4 years. That they are losing it right now. Adams is sounding the alarm here in this exclusive interview with Fox News, but will his party heed the warning? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. What do y'all think, guys? Do you think the Democratic Party is going to realize the kind of train wreck that they're in the middle of, or are they going to continue these insane policies and continue to push these bills like the one that they're trying to push through right now? Maybe they already pushed it through, this crazy spending bill that takes all our hardworking tax money and gives it to pay raises and insane policies that the Trump administration, the Doge committee, everybody's against, and yet they're pushing it through. They are just ramming it through the Americans' throats, and it's absolutely insane, guys. But let me know what you think. Put it down in the comments or in the chat. Appreciate everyone for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, sore losers. Democrats are moving to abolish the Electoral College after Trump's win. This is an insane clip. Y'all check it out.
Questions that anybody has? Yes.
The CR was brought up a few times. We'll start there. Elon Musk, Vikram Swamy.
Hold on, guys. That is the wrong clip. My bad. Give me 1 second, and I will.
Questions that anybody has? Yes.
The CR was brought up a few times. We'll start there. Elon Musk.
President-elect Donald Trump is celebrating his dominant election win on social media. He posted this picture of his signed Pennsylvania Electoral College ballot yesterday, writing, "Our big Pennsylvania win, so nice." And Trump didn't just win Pennsylvania. He won all 7 swing states and more than 300 electoral votes, leading to a massive victory. And, of course, the popular vote. Now, just weeks later, a coalition of Democratic senators are looking to change our Constitution and abolish the Electoral College. Their proposed amendment reads in part, "In an election, the person who gets the most votes should win. It's that simple. No one's vote should count more based on where they live. The Electoral College is outdated and it's undemocratic. It's time to end it." And Democratic New York Governor Kathy Hochul is already signaling her support.
Unfairly less populated states have outsized influence, and in fact, the votes of their residents count more than the residents of a state like New York. Consider that a single elector in Wyoming, no offense to Wyoming, represents 200,000 residents, and in New York, an elector like you represent 700,000. It's time to amend the Constitution and relegate the institution of the Electoral College to the history books.
This is how I know they're sore losers and they're liars. These are the people who gave us the superdelegates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, they didn't just want delegates. They wanted delegates to wear capes.
And then rig their own primary twice. And then, of course, threw out the guy that won the primary and replaced it with somebody else because they thought that maybe she would do better, and she didn't. I think that Democrats should be very careful about this. I think that this is a short-term partisan attack on the Constitution in a way that may backfire in ways that they can't foresee. Yeah. The founders recognized the importance of giving states the power, because, and it's really important, and it was very prescient, because if you look fast forward to today, the reason they wanted the states to have this power is because they were worried that the federal government wouldn't have a check on it. And the reason that states have this power is because they're the only entity in our government that can stand up to the federal government. And my worry, the consequences of doing something, I don't think it's doable, and I don't think they'll succeed, but the consequences would be disastrous, and I think it would also probably hurt them in ways that they can't foresee.
Guys, on that note, You got to understand that the Electoral College protects against mob rule, and it ensures balanced representation. See, the Electoral College was designed to prevent the largest, most populous states or urban areas from dominating presidential elections. Without it, candidates would focus solely on winning votes in cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, ignoring the needs and the voices of rural America and smaller states. So by maintaining this system, we preserve a balance where every state, regardless of size or population, has a meaningful role in shaping the direction of the country. It's not just about fairness either, guys. It's about ensuring that all Americans, not just those in major cities, have a say in our democracy.
Kennedy, do we want the people who literally could not figure out not to close down everything and lock us down in COVID, to then be able to cut out the rights of voters that were foundationally carved for states? Do we want them to do that?
No, we don't, and everyone knows that, and that's why it's so difficult. That's why the process was designed to be difficult to amend the Constitution, because it had to do something that would have long-lasting ramifications that we could agree on as a society, and all it would take is for a Republican to win the popular vote and a Democrat to win the electoral vote, and then they would completely switch course, which will probably happen because our politics are only going to get weirder and weirder as the two parties sort of age out their Humpty Dumptys like Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi, who can't stay upright. So a newer generation of people is going to come forward, and they're going to appeal to voters in different ways. And so everything will continue to get flipped on its head. The Constitution should not be one of those things. And you're also going to ignore everyone in the middle. So that means presidential hopefuls will only be campaigning in New York, California, Texas, and Florida. And they're basically saying, suck it, Iowa.
Wow. Right now, aren't all of those sanctuary cities?
I mean, they're
in states, I should say.
They're spreading like scarlet fever.
Oh my goodness! All right, and in her lovely scarlet fever-like oxblood skirt, Rosanna Scott.
So this is what I have to say, Harris. You know, Governor Hochul has so many problems in New York City and in the state. It's kind of interesting that she's talking about this. Her administration did a redrawing of the congressional maps, okay, which was overturned. Okay, and then Nancy Pelosi basically blamed her for losing congressional seats and messing up everything in D.C. So I don't know. Does Governor Hochul really have any weight when she comes out and talks about electoral votes? I'm not really sure.
That was such a great lead up. Just like, wow.
Yeah, it's perfect. Look, nothing is more rich than these Democratic individuals saying that the current state is undemocratic when they removed the duly elected candidate for their own party for the presidency and expected everyone to just sit back and swallow it. And you're exactly right. What they are indeed telling the other states, as Hochul said, no offense to Wyoming, no, actually offense taken. That's exactly what you are projecting, is an elite smugness for the volume of your population, by the way, is fleeing to sunnier, warmer, more business-friendly states. The reality is every single one of their constituents should take note that that is how their representatives are spending their time. And I am one of them. So, Governor Hochul, to your point, exactly, there are a million issues just on this block that she should be addressing. And she should stop, again, getting onto the caboose of what they think will earn them. I think it's strokes in Congress, because there is no way that any valid member of a constituency actually wants their representative to be doing this right now versus actually legislating, or more aptly, upending legislation.
That's right. Maybe a stay coupon at the Roosevelt Hotel for her. So she can check out the border crisis.
That might be interesting.
Bring your mace. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily.
Man, guys, I have so much to say about this, but abolishing the Electoral College undermines the Constitution. It undermines the wisdom of our founders. Electoral College wasn't created by accident. It was a deliberate part of the Constitution to balance state and federal power while preventing tyranny by the majority. See, the founders knew the dangers of centralizing too much power in a simple majority system. So calls to abolish it dismiss the careful thought that went into creating a structure that has worked for centuries. If one party seeks to dismantle it simply because they don't like the outcomes of recent elections, it's not about progress. It's about rewriting the rules for political gain, which sets a very dangerous precedent. We got to understand this isn't about consolidating power. Or maybe I should say it is about consolidating power. It's not strengthening democracy. That's what they're making it about. They're trying to consolidate power, not strengthening democracy, by labeling the Electoral College as outdated or undemocratic. Proponents of its abolition are ignoring its crucial role in preserving the republic. The truth is this, guys. This move isn't about fairness. It's not about empowering voters. It's about tipping future elections in favor of one party by ensuring that major urban areas carry undue influence. So if the Electoral College is abolished, the unique voices of millions of Americans in smaller states will be drowned out entirely. The system that we have ensures that candidates must appeal to a broad coalition of voters across the country, which is critical to maintaining a functioning democracy. Guys, the Electoral College was not just an accident. It was a well thought out plan, and it has been working for a very long time. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Absolutely insane. Anyway, all right, guys, that is all for today's show, but I got a big announcement. All right, big announcement. Medium announcement. And first of all, before the announcement, I want to say welcome, guys, to everybody that's joining the stream for the first time. If this is the first time you've been on the stream, don't forget to subscribe. We do a show like this 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and really kind of leads into the announcement. Don't forget, guys, like the video. It helps out the YouTube algorithm, so I appreciate all the likes. Okay, here's the announcement, guys. We've been doing the show every day, 5 p.m. We're now only going to do the show 5 p.m. on weekdays. All right, now I've got a lot of things in the works. We're gonna name the show. We're gonna create some graphics and stuff to put in it. We got a lot of stuff that we're working on, guys, because I want to make this very helpful for y'all and kind of synthesize the biggest things that are happening in the news, give you that conservative viewpoint, that Christian perspective. So appreciate everybody for watching the stream. Appreciate all the support. Love all y'all. We're only going to be doing this on weekdays now, guys. Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. right here on the stream. And then on weekends, I'm going to be working on other types of videos that won't necessarily be in a live stream format, but which y'all will still be able to digest on your own time. So anyway, again, appreciate everyone for hopping in the chat tonight, for all the comments. Gene, Betty, OG Dog, appreciate all y'all for stopping in, guys. Y'all have a fantastic, amazing night. I'll see you again tomorrow with another video, with another stream, 5 o'clock p.m. Central. We'll do it tomorrow, Friday, and then we're going to take a break during the weekend, but watch for other types of content. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Again, appreciate all the support. Love y'all. Have a good one.